three formats for a long period of time, and one thing I've learned about champion players in this game in particular is you never write them off.
Kohli goes down the ground, Kohli goes out of the ground. Wow, this is a sensational hit from Virat Kohli. It is innings like these, Virat, that take you beyond the present and into legend.
Start of this tournament, India-Pakistan right here at the MCG, Virat rolling the clock back a little bit, playing a match-winning knock, being a man of the match in what I think is probably one of the best sporting spectacles that I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is immense from Virat Kohli.
And let's be fair, it wasn't like he was setting the world on fire through his innings up until that point either. I think a lot of people would have thought, going into the last 8 balls, Virat's played one of those knocks that might cost India the game. But sure enough, 6-6 off the last 2 balls and then 16 off the last. That just goes to show how important the last 2 balls of the 19th over were. They had to get boundaries on those 2 or the game was done.
Kohli goes over fine leg. He might have cleared the boundary. He has! What a way to end that Harish Rauf over.
A great learning experience for Virat as a cricketer and as a person, I think, to actually get to a point in his career when he had to change, had to do something different. He's been so dominant a player for such a long period of time where he's probably never really had to change things up too much. We know he's always been a really hard worker, he's always been fit, always looked after his diet and been a great trainer, and that worked for him up until a certain period of time where he had to look elsewhere and find other ways to get back to being a great player again. And I was always quite similar, to be honest. If I was having a lean trot, the best thing for me to do was to try and forget about the game for a while. I learnt that reasonably early in my career. I got dropped from the Test team, raced back to Sheffield Shield cricket, said to myself, I'm going to get a million runs in the next month, and I'm going to get picked back in that team. And cricket doesn't work that way. It doesn't let you work that way. It takes a lot of trust and belief to be able to do that as well. When a certain formula has worked so well for so long, the most courageous thing you can do is to walk away from that. And for Virat to do that, he obviously knew he needed to, but it certainly worked for him as well.
Has he got the timing right? Has he got the timing right? Oh, it's gone for 6.
I had McGrath and Moore and these guys in my side, and quite often you'd hear the media would start up about these guys are past their best, they're getting on, they're too old, but they always found a way. And I thought if India just stuck with Virat in that one spot, I know they tried him up in the opening spot and it worked well for a couple of games, but in that number 3 slot, let him feel comfortable, let him work his way into the tournament, and it was game 1 where he played that magnificent innings against Pakistan and won the game for them.
Virat Kohli is turning it on in style here at the stadium, is dancing to his beats.
And the enormity of the moment, 91,000 people at the MCG, one of the great rivalries in world sports, certainly probably the biggest rivalry in world cricket. It doesn't get any bigger, and he's standing on strike with 28 required off 8 balls and gets the job done. So I reckon the other thing that I really liked about it as well, you could see how much it meant to his teammates for him to do it. It looked like there's just a little bit more to it because it was Virat, because of the struggles that he'd been through, because they probably all backed him inside and outside the dressing room, and then he came off in a big moment. You could see what it meant to the whole team. And I must admit, when I saw that happen that night, when I thought something really special might just happen around this Indian team now as a result of one innings or just a couple of balls in a tournament, you sometimes just take something like that just to flick the switch of a few individual players and for them to realise that we're never out of a game. The skill and talent we've got in this team, we're never out of a contest. And I've still got a feeling that they're going to progress a long way in this event.
This game was gone. Virat Kohli pulled it back. What a champion. What an absolute champion Virat Kohli is.